So the sprint is over, now it's time to reflect on the past 2 weeks. And of course, silently judge everything and everyone, just a little. Are sprint retros actually useful? They are, after all, an opportunity to improve as a team and also as an individual. A time for honest feedback and reflection. For those that don't know or don't follow the Scrum methodology, sprint retros are basically meetings at the end of a sprint where the team discuss what went well, what we could improve, and any action items that the team or individual will take as a result of the improvement identified. It's a chance for the team to really scrutinize the outgoing sprint and improve the internal engineering culture as a whole. The problem is that sometimes organizations don't know how to run a sprint retro successfully. It almost becomes a box ticking exercise where team members are too afraid to speak up, and any problems that were identified in the sprint never really get solved or are totally forgotten about. So why is this? Mainly, it comes down to the team culture. This is quite evident if the team fails to speak up much during the retro. It's a telling sign that they are afraid to speak their mind and may risk being judged. Therefore, there needs to be a high level of trust within the team in order for the retros to be successful. Second, the reason why issues are forgotten about during the sprint is that there isn't any accountability or responsibility for the action items that may come about from the sprint retro. This could be because there isn't anyone assigned to do this. A developer or engineer wouldn't want the extra responsibility on top of doing their main role. Plus, there's no follow-up to the action item, so it seems like a pointless thing to do. So what can be done? Well, firstly, you need to keep the format simple and easy. One of the biggest killers of an effective retro is overcomplicating the process. A retro isn't a strategy meeting or performance review. It's a chance for the team to reflect, share, and grow. Keep the format lean and predictable. Use a structure like what went well, what didn't, and what can we improve. It's simple and it works. Avoid packing in too many activities, tools, or icebreakers unless your team likes them. Goal here is to make it as clear as possible. Keep the session focused and time boxed so it doesn't drag on. A simple format helps team members know what to expect and create space for honest, thoughtful discussions. When the format is easy, the focus stays on improvement. Second thing is that you need to encourage a culture of trust and non-judgment. So psychological safety is the foundation of any good retro. If the team members don't feel safe to speak up, then retros just become like a polite recap of the surface level issues. To get to the real value, you need honesty, and honesty only comes from trust. Create an environment where the feedback isn't seen as blame but as insight. Remind the team that retros are not about finger pointing, they're about learning. Normalize failure as a path to improvement and make space for even quieter members of the team to be heard. It helps if leaders, especially the Scrum Master, can expose their own vulnerability by admitting their own mistakes and showing curiosity rather than being defensive. A culture of learning starts when people feel like they won't be punished or judged for telling the truth. Once the trust is there, retros can become one of the most powerful parts of the sprint, not just for fixing problems, but growing as a team. Also, it's good to track action items and follow up on them. A retro without follow through is just like a nice chat. If you're identifying problems or opportunities but never actually doing anything about them, the team will stop taking those retros seriously. Every session should end with clear, actionable items. Who's doing what and by when. These items should be realistic and visible. Track them in your board, backlog, or wherever your team managers work. Even better, assign a dedicated person like a Scrum Master, Agile coach, or team lead to own the process. Their job is to make sure the team checks in on progress and doesn't lose sight of what they agreed to improve. This closes the feedback loop. It also shows the team that their voices matter, because when actions are taken, it proves that the retro isn't just for show. Over time, this builds trust and drives real, measurable improvement. Finally, you need to experiment with solutions, even if they might not work. One of the most powerful aspects of Agile is the willingness to adapt and experiment. A retro is a perfect opportunity to try something new. Maybe it's a new process tweak, a new style of communication, or even changing how you estimate or collaborate as a team. The key here is being willing to run small experiments, even if they might fail fail. Of course, not every solution will work, but that's okay. The point is to create momentum and show the team that change is possible. Think of it like a series of low-risk, high-learning tests. If something doesn't work, learn from it and try something else in the next sprint. If it does work, then integrate that into the next sprint and move forward. This mindset keeps the team dynamic and motivated rather than stuck in the same patterns. Remember, improvement isn't about getting it perfect. It's about getting better bit by bit and sprint by sprint. So I guess the question is, do sprint retros actually suck? They can, but they don't have to. When they're done right, retros are one of the most valuable moments in the sprint. They're a chance to really connect as a team and make small improvements that'll add over time. It's not about being perfect as a team, but you have to be intentional. So keep the format simple and build a culture where people are safe to speak up. And of course, make sure that you follow through on the action items. And finally, don't be afraid to experiment. Even if the ideas flop, that's just part of the process. Because ultimately, a good retro isn't just a meeting. It's a signal that your team cares enough to get better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.